All right, for more on the markets on this final trading month of the year, we want to bring in Jeremy Siegel. He is professor emeritus of finance at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business. He's also chief economist at WisdomTree. And Jeremy, I don't know if you just heard that conversation. I'm going to assume you did. How would you weigh in on this, just in terms of what the market knows, what the market anticipates, what we should be expecting from policy in the incoming Trump administration?
Yeah. Good morning, Becky. I know Joe has been asking about what's going on with the 10-year. If you remember, on the day of the election, the 10-year really jumped by almost 20 basis points. I think that was a shot across the bow saying to Trump, be careful of all the tax cuts. Now, I think that the market will certainly accept an extension of the 2017 tax cuts. But remember, Trump really promised a lot more, and it really started turning around, Becky, as you said, when Scott Bessent was, basically nominated as the Secretary of Treasury, because he's known as someone that takes a reasonable stance on the deficit. The deficit is a long-term problem. I don't think it's short-term, but if every single one of Trump's promises on tax cuts does take place, I think that's going to pressure the bond market. And I think Scott's nomination really was the start of taking that pressure off.
Well, probably also recognizing that incoming President Trump cares about the market's reaction to and uses it as a measuring stick of kind of a report card.
Absolutely. No other president uses the stock market more than President Trump. I'd also like to comment on, this recent Trump tweet, if you would want to call it, about 100% tariffs on the BRIC countries if they start a new currency. I find that really curious because really I think the biggest threat to the dollar being used as a reserve currency is Bitcoin, which we all hear, Trump is a big supporter of. So it seems a little bit strange to tell them don't produce an alternative reserve currency when really Bitcoin is, being talked about by many countries in the world as their alternative currency, some of them getting rid of gold and going into Bitcoin. So I'm a little curious on how that's going to play itself out once we hear all the details.
Well, Jeremy, what are you expecting? What do you think will happen? You anticipate that some of his stances will be moderated because he will care about the stock market's reaction to this, and that's why. So you're positive on stocks as a result?
Yeah, I am positive. I mean, I know that Tom, who I respect tremendously, thinks another 5% this month. I'm wondering whether we brought forward the good December in November because of his election, so it might be a little bit harder to get to 6,300. I think that Tom thinks there'll be a pause after that. We are at high valuations, but not extraordinary. And I'm beginning to see that the Mag 7 is a little bit lagging the rest of the market. Are we seeing the beginning of the rotation? I think this month might begin to tell us, maybe the Mag 7 will do nothing next year, and those small and mid-sized caps stocks, which are, really so undervalued compared to the others, are finally going to have their day in the sun.
And that's okay with you?
I think that's perfect, and that'll keep the bull market going.
What would you anticipate next year if you think maybe we've already pulled some gains forward into November? What are you expecting for next year?
Well, I think I'm expecting a much quieter market. I mean, we've had two, blockbuster years, 2023, 2024. So I'm expecting an S&P probably in the 0 to 10% range. But I think that the Mag 7 and Tech Group might be flattish. So X that, you're probably in the 5 to 15% range for the rest of the market, since Mag 7 is 1/3 of the S&P valuation. So maybe for once we will see relative softness on the big high flyers that have been so good for the market the last 2 years, and finally those others going up. But the S&P being 1/3 of those high flyers, if they do falter next year or even really don't increase, it'll be hard for the S&P to make anything like the gains that we had in 2023 and 2024.
Mag 7 is so close to MAGA 7.
Yeah,
I just wonder,
I know.
Every time you say that, I like twitch a little bit. And actually, I'm wondering which of the Mag 7, I don't think you can say monolithically that they'd all do well under a Trump administration. I don't know which ones will continue to be. I mean,
obviously Tesla's big gains have been brought forward by its association with Trump. I mean, that's people were wanting to take Tesla out of the Mag 7 because it was doing so poorly, and then suddenly now it's one of the best performing stocks. A lot of people, of course, they had Netflix in there. It doesn't quite have the market cap. But those stocks are selling for 30, 35 times forward earnings, which is certainly possible.
Jeremy, the Trump trade we've talked about so much, you should pick 7 of the stocks and call them the MAGA 7, because it's just begging to be called the MAGA 7. Thank you.